Welcome and thank you for enrolling in RainDrop therapy technique. My name is Heather and I will be your instructor today. This is a unique practice that's been studied and inspired by the Native American tradition. This technique brings balance and harmony to the body, combining massage techniques and distinct energy approaches. Make sure you do not need to be a licensed practitioner in your area to perform RainDrop therapy. RainDrop therapy generally takes about an hour depending on the person performing it. We want to make sure that we're in a clear place, coming with clear intentions. Founded by Dr. Gary Young, he follows the 3 pillars: sourcing, science, and standards. Dr. Gary Young's botanical farms are worldwide. He grows and tries to preserve their plants in their most natural habitat all around the world, preserving land. Let's take a closer look. Cultivating and producing these beautiful botanical farms worldwide promotes local and cultural events, giving education and opportunities for the workers and their families to work on site close to each other. Some locations have schools on site so that the workers can keep their families close to them, while preserving the land, cultivating, and producing. We hand-pick in some of the finest places of the world, producing and distilling his own products, implementing sustainable practices throughout the world with integrity, while they pick the finest products, caring for them, distilling them in the perfect environments, and delivering them all over the world. RainDrop technique incorporates calming, energizing, and soothing essential oils with traditional massage practice. The application results in energy alignment, stress relief, and harmony and balance to every system in the body. It's one of the few therapies that combines 3 critical healing elements: essential oils, manual technique, and acupressure points, providing 3 powerful techniques in one single treatment. It is recommended 4 times a year. In critical conditions or chronic illness, check with your doctor, and can be done as often as monthly. Make sure you have your massage table set up and additional sheets to provide coverage and warmth for the recipient. Also a small table with all your essential oils close by so that you can reach them easily. First, let's prepare our room, creating a relaxing setting with comfortable temperature, dimmed lights, and no noises or distractions. Removing all jewelry, make sure your fingernails are clean, well trimmed, and free from polish. Make sure you and your recipient both use the restroom, and you enter the space with a positive mindset. Inquire, make sure that your recipient does not have any allergies. Ask permission to begin. Also, make sure you offer water throughout the treatment and after. Throughout the treatment, please check in with your client. Make sure they are not feeling any heat or discomfort. Sometimes the oils will feel a burning sensation on the skin, and you can use V6 at any time to dilute and give relief to your client quickly. Note, do not use water. Water will increase the heat and create the skin to get very red. Also, some people will start to feel an itchy, irritated feeling. Dilute that area with the V6 oils. To begin, I like to apply a few drops of VALOR to my neck and to myself, shoulders to bring balance and peace of mind. Also, you can add a few drops, bring it to your client's nose, and then apply it on their shoulders, holding space for a few moments. I'm sorry I didn't get the angle in this video, and she was gone before I realized it. Once you feel calm, we're going to check hands, make sure our clients are comfortable, participating in their own healing, putting their hands upon their hips, and then we're going to grab their ankles and check for alignment for their nose and navel and feet. Are we ready to begin? VALOR. I like to start and wrap the feet in a nice warm towel. Make sure you check the temperature before you place it along their feet, and then cover it with a dry towel to lock in the warmth. Once again, I repeat on the other side, applying a nice, clean, warm, hot towel. I wrap their foot and then cover with a nice, dry towel to lock in the heat. This also helps clean and prepare the foot. And it feels wonderful. I like to knead the feet, do some compressions to the foot, wake up the nerve endings. We start with VALOR. Depending on the size of the foot, we use 3 to 6 drops all over the bottom of the foot. Make sure it's rubbed in really nice. Applying 3 to 6 drops on each palm of our hand is covering the bottom of the foot. And we're going to hold. Make sure full contact, entire palm of the hand on the bottom of the foot. Doesn't matter if your left arm is over the right arm or vice versa. Hold until you can feel a sensation in both feet is equalized. Let's begin with oregano. It clears the receptor sites. We're going to apply 3 to 6 drops on the palm of our hand, making a clockwise circle. Starting with the index finger at the coccyx on the Vita chart and rolling over and back, over and back, gently sliding a half a finger width at a time as you slide up the spine area. We're going to complete this step 3 times on each foot. Each time we're going to go to the palm of our hand, picking up more oils from the palm of our foot, starting with our index finger at the coccyx point along the spine, and rolling our fingers a half inch, sliding, rolling, working all the way up the spine. When you are done applying 3 times, rub the excess oil on the bottom of the foot and then repeat on the other side, starting with 3 to 6 drops of oregano in the palm of your hand, then using the tips of your finger like a palette, rubbing in a clockwise motion, and then applying the oils, roll and release up the spine of the foot, slowly, 3 times. Make sure you're using the tips of your fingers. This is why it's very important to keep your fingertips, nails groomed very short. We're rolling with the tips of our fingers up the spine of the foot. Roll and release. Remember to rub the excess oil on the bottom of their foot. We don't want to waste any of the oils. Maintaining alignment with your client's body at all times. Now we will continue to the second oil, thyme. Applying 3 to 6 drops in the palm of your hand, doing a clockwise circle motion with the tips of your fingers, starting at the coccyx point along the spine of the foot, roll and release. Repeating this step 3 times on each foot. When you come up to the big toe, you can use a little bit more stimulation, working and stimulating the brain. Wiping the excess oils on the bottom of the feet, wasting no oils. Now we are going to repeat applying 3 to 6 drops of thyme to our hand, and then using our fingertips, applying in a clockwise motion. We're going to circle 3 times and Vita flex, starting at the coccyx point, the spine of the foot, roll and release, repeating this step 3 times. Next, the basil oil. The same application as before, using our fingers like brushes. Its antispasmodic properties were applied to each foot 3 times. These go in the nerve centers, creating relaxation. Again, at the tip of the toe, give it a little bit more stimulation. Again, using 3 to 6 drops of basil in the palm of your hand, using the tips of your fingers to circulate 3 times, and applying in the same technique in a series of 3 times, applying with the Vita flex, roll and release. And now we're receiving cypress. The sapropterpenes help increase circulation, improves circulatory function. Cypress helps improve integrity of the capillary walls and helps in ATP and oxygen uptake. So we're going to apply in the same series. 3 times on each foot. Next we have wintergreen. Wintergreen is good for the bones. We're going to apply it in the same manner, applying 3 to 6 drops to each foot, applying 3 applications to each foot. So each oil is applied 3 times to each foot through the Vita Flex technique. And then always on the 3rd time up, we can give a little bit more attention to the top of the toe, around the pituitary gland especially, and the tip of the toe at the brain. Make sure you're wiping all the excess oil on the bottom of their foot. We do not want to waste any oils. And again, we will repeat, putting 3 to 6 drops in the palm of our hand, using the tips of our fingers in a circular motion and applying VitaFlex in a series of 3 times along the spine of the foot. Next we use marjoram, which is for smooth muscle and relaxation. Again, 3 to 6 drops applied to our hand using our fingertips in a circular motion. And we're going to apply it 3 times using the VitaFlex We're going to apply to each foot. Maintaining contact with the client. Also, stay in alignment with the client's body, checking in, looking at their face, expressions, making sure that they're comfortable and relaxed. Again, we will repeat at the next foot, applying 3 to 6 drops in a sequence of 3. Now, back at our starting point, the next oil we will be receiving is Peppermint. Maintaining alignment with the body, again, in a series of 3, applying Vita along the spine of the foot. Now we're ready to roll our client over, making sure you drape your client well, keeping their back exposed, making sure that they are comfortable. You're going to apply fanning in sections of 3, 3 times, sections of 2, in a series of 3 times. And then the last fanning will go all the way the whole length of the spine 3 times. We're going to start with the same oil that we started on the foot. The first oil is oregano. Applying 6 inches above the spine. And then we are going to do our fanning motion, 1, 2, 3, using the tips, the back of our fingers, 1, 2, 3. Again, 1, 2, 3, in 3 sections of the back, keeping our fingertips as square as possible. 1, 2, 3, along the 3 sections of the back, 3 times. Then we're going to do 2 sections, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and slide up the spine, 1, 2, 3, slide up the spine, 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to fan it out along the sides of the back and off the shoulders. And now we're going to apply our next oil 6 inches above the spine using thyme. Using the same technique, divide the back in 3 sections, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and feathering, 1, 2, 3. We're going to spread the oils evenly. Stimulating the flow of the nerves coming out of the spine. The idea and the purpose of the feathering stroke, again, is to be very light, just a feather light touch, where it almost creates goosebumps. And this is where you get the greatest response of waking up the nerve endings. Now we're going to do Basil. Basil is applied on each side of the spine. Putting the basil on each side of the spine to make sure you have enough lubrication for the next process. We're going to feather it up the spine lightly with the tips of our fingers, keeping the tips of our fingers square. Then we're going to take our fingers we're just spreading the oils. Keeping the tips of your fingers square, right at the against the spine, or at the edge of the spine where you can feel it. Put your hands together, one thumb over the top of the heather, locking them together, palms flat. Taking your fingertips, curling, pulling towards yourself in a circular motion, coming up and back around and release. Pull in, back towards you in a circular motion, around and release. Curl in, down, around, up and release. And we're going to do this 3 times and slide. Curl in, down, around, up and release. Curl in, pull away, around, up and release. Moving all the way up to the base of their spine. We're going to pull that deep loin muscle. We're pulling it away from the spine, giving more circulation to the blood vessels and the nerves in the spine. Again, with the tips of the fingers, we're curling and squeezing. Squeezing in. You're not pulling with your hand. You're not pulling with your arms. You're squeezing with the tips of your fingers, pulling it down, around in a circle, and release as you come up towards the spine. Curl in, around, and release. Curl in, around, and release. Slide up and do the same action. We're going to do this on each side 3 times, starting at the base of the spine, moving all the way up to the cervical spine. Locking my thumbs. We're doing the same process 3 times, going up the spine, each side with the same motion. When you're going up the spine, pay attention to what your fingertips are feeling. You may feel that certain areas have some knots and little lumps, bumps, need more attention. Sensitive areas where you feel heat, usually you feel more inflammation. That area is more tender and painful. Also, if you feel in this process at any point they have absorbed all the oil, you can add a few more drops of basil at any time. This is the final step as we finish up. Now we are ready for the next oil, cypress. Now, cypress is very beneficial for stimulation of circulation and cell integrity, so I like to be liberal with this oil. Again, we're going to apply the cypress with the 6 inches up the spine, and then we're going to spread the oils along the spine. And watch your oils spreading along the spine evenly, getting nice coverage. I'm right-handed, so I'm going to use my right hand to be the saw. So I'm going to straddle the spine with my left hand. Find the head of the vertebrae. Put your fingers on each side. Approximately 1 finger width apart, and then using your left hand, or right hand in my case, and I'm going to use a sawing back and forth, and you want to lock your hand so that they stay, so you're not sliding off your other hand. The right hand is straight on the spine, pulling up, elongating the spine. We're accomplishing the vibration of separating the muscle tissue and relaxing it so that we can open up the tightness along the spine, and we're pulling, elongating the spine, creating some sensation and hydration to the disc. We're going to repeat this 3 times. And now, the next step is Vita flex on the spine, the thumb walk. You can stand at the shoulder of the table or at the head of the table. We're going to reach down, putting our thumb tips along each side of the spine, but we're going to slide, so we're going to have one thumb an inch higher than the other, so they're off center. So as we go in and out, you don't bang your knuckles together. And you're going to walk up the spine. Again, the purpose of this is to simulate pulling the loin muscle away from the vertebrae to give more freedom of energetic flow and circulation. And we're going to move all the way up to the base of the skull, the occiput. Coming back, we'll do one last application. Very important with your starting position. With your thumbs will always be on the pads, and you're going to roll over until your knuckles, your nails are touching skin. And then you come back and roll over again. And now the marjoram, we want to be liberal and sprinkle it over the whole back liberally. But make sure it's not running, just on the surface. And now we're going to do a circular, large, deep circular motions. We're just going to be massaging and working the muscle so that it relaxes. We're going to make sure we go This is our last application. Next aroma C's, be liberal with it, sprinkling all over the back. This is a very nice sensation for your client. We're simply sliding back and forth across the spine, which again is very soothing, most relaxing. We're going to repeat this 3 times, up and down the back, with a firm pressure, not too light. You want to move muscle tissue. You want the oil to go in. After 3 complete times, up and back, up and back. And now we're going to use peppermint. These oils work on the receptor sites as a detoxifier and a personifier. So all of these oils are enhancing the oils that have gone before them and making them more effective. So we're using peppermint, and we're going to stroke the peppermint and until it goes completely into the spine, and the feathering and fanning technique that we used in the beginning of the opening. So we're going to do 3 times in 3 sections, simulating the nerve flow. Then we're going to go 2 sections, 3 times in each section. This is a very light stroke, almost causing goosebumps. And then the last one, we're going to elongate all the way up the spine 3 times. Make sure you're checking in, looking for redness. Make sure there's no burning. And you can add the V6 mixing oil to calm down in any areas where there's too much heat. And now the VALOR, which is the last, which is going to harmonize, hold the sensation, and it's going to seal and establish homeostasis in the DNA and hold it there, so that we are creating a good memory for the body to hold on to. So we're going to apply it along the spine and the muscle very well. And then I feather it up the spine, penetrating it, and hold the memory and lock this good experience into the cells and into the receptor sites along the spine. We're stroking along the spines first. Make sure we're getting it nicely along the spine. And then we're going to come back, and you can massage it in until it's dry, using whatever technique you feel. Lightly moving along the sides of the back, almost like you're not touching, and you want to feather off the sides of the shoulders. And this just creates a nice relaxing as you stimulate the nerve endings, and it's a wonderful concluding sensation and feeling for the end. Now, ask your recipient to roll over and lay face up, holding the sheet for them, having them take their time as they roll over. They have been laying there for a while. Now we are going to use the Vita technique. We're going to take our little finger at the occiput of the skull, with our other fingers are all going to be underneath the occipital, our thumbs up and over around their ears. So you're literally cradling their head in your hand and using your fingers, just the tips of the fingers, that second joint forward. You're creating this motion. So gently pulling in a rocking motion, moving the entire body, and we're going to sustain this motion for about 1 minute. And we're going to repeat this 3 times. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoy your working with the Young Living oils. I'm so grateful you joined me here today.